What's going on, everybody? It's your boy B Day back for a truly blockbuster episode. It's now 4:35 at time of recording, and the news broke at about 3:15 that James Harden was being traded to the Brooklyn Nets. Initial reaction, I was going crazy. I was like, "Oh my God, what did they give up? Was it Kyrie? Was it some of their bench? Was it all the picks? Was it some picks?" There was a lot. There was a lot going on, but it took about an hour after all the news came out, really gathered the information so I could form better, stronger opinions on how I feel about this trade. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So as you can tell by the title, the Brooklyn Nets acquired James Harden. That's gonna take all the headlines. That's gonna take all the flash of the trade. The Houston Rockets trade him to the Nets. But what I want to do is talk about the others in this trade, the other two teams that swooped in, and in my opinion, were winners of this trade. So let's just go ahead and lay out the full landscape. The Nets get James Harden. The Pacers grab Karis LeVert and a second-round pick. The Cavaliers grab Jared Allen and Taurean Prince. And then the Rockets get back Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum, Rodion Kurucs, 3 Brooklyn first-round picks in 2022, 2024, and 2026, all unprotected. A Milwaukee pick in 2022. And then the 4 Brooklyn pick swaps in 21, 23, 25, and 27. So let's start with the Pacers, right? Victor Oladipo, 2-3 years ago, that guy was a problem, right? He was probably the second or third best shooting guard in the Eastern Conference, and he was balling, right? Makes the All-NBA team and is doing his thing. Goes toe-to-toe with LeBron in that first-round series that Indiana takes Cavaliers to 7 games. Well, Victor Oladipo hasn't been here in a while. So from Indiana's point of view, you're trading a guy who is 28 years old and coming off of a major injury, who hasn't shown that sort of level in a while. Throw that in with the fact that Victor Oladipo is on the last year of his contract, which in the NBA terms is called an expiring deal. And that means he has the option to not re-sign with Indiana after the season, which, hey, I wouldn't blame him, because what the hell is there to do in Indiana, right? So as the Pacers franchise, you take that asset and you grab Karis LeVert for that. That's a huge win, in my opinion. You got a guy, Karis LeVert, who in the bubble playoffs last year showed how truly great he is on the ball. You've seen it more recently, obviously, as I mentioned. Also a couple years younger than Oladipo, and most importantly for the Pacers, he is locked up until the summer of 2023 under contract. So even if he doesn't work out for you, guess what? You can flip Karis LeVert and trade that and turn that into something else. So anytime you can take an expiring deal and get back a player that's better, it's generally a good trade, generally a win for your franchise. Let's talk the other team in this 4-team trade. Let's talk the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? So obviously the Cavs and the Pacers had to come in order to make this deal work, either for money reasons or whatever. But the Cleveland Cavaliers, to me, they've really got a steal. So you grab Jared Allen, a 22-year-old who has shown nothing but absolute promise. He's shown that he can defend guards in space on the perimeter. He's shown that he can guard bigs down low. He's shown that he can block the best of the best, including LeBron, Anthony Davis, Blake Griffin, guys who jump out of the gym. He's shown he can dunk it on you. Ask Mike Muscala. You get him essentially for a first-round pick that was coming from Milwaukee, which was going to be in the high 20s, and Dante Exum, who I've called a draft bust on my channel many of times. So again, that's a huge win. You throw in the fact that you add Taurean Prince to that, who I don't really like as a player, but maybe a change of scenery can help him, play better, be better. But more importantly, Jared Allen, he fits with what you're trying to do and what you're trying to build in Cleveland. I made a video earlier this year saying it was going to be very dark in Cleveland. I stand by that right now, but I think there is light at the end of the tunnel. You have the Sexland backcourt, Darius Garland, Colin Sexton. You have Isaac Okoro, who you drafted this year, who looks like he gets it and he can really defend already as a rookie. And then you put Jared Allen in, and you've got something in the young core. You've got your backcourt, you've got your front court, and you're just looking for spots and pieces to, fill around the edges. But that's a promising young group right there. So as far as Cleveland, I think you guys did a great job as well, hopping in there and being able to snag Jared Allen off of a team who desperately needed him, in my opinion. Segues us into the Brooklyn Nets, right? So you get James Harden, and on paper, this team looks disgusting, like in a good way disgusting. Like you got Kyrie, you got Harden, you got KD, you got Joe Harris, you got DeAndre, you got Jeff Green, you got, big names, right, in the basketball world. I'm not sure if I feel much better about you guys' title hopes, and I mean that with all due respect. Right, I come from Brooklyn. That's my home. That's my home. Right, my hometown. But I don't know, man. I don't know if, for one, I was talking to a couple of my friends. I feel like I would have loved this deal if Kyrie was the one who left, because now you got James, you got KD, you probably keep one of Karras or Jared Allen, and you got you a real squad right there. Joe Harris providing the spacing and things of that nature. Shamet probably playing a little more. But the fact that all three of them are there, that fit seems a little harsh to me, right? You got Kyrie, great on-ball individual talent. James Harden, great on-ball individual talent who can be good off-ball but chooses not to. And then you got KD, who can do everything, right? So I don't think it would ever be a problem if it was just KD and James. Just how I don't think it was a problem when they were at their best when it was Kyrie and KD, right? But when you get all three of them and you have that sort of ego on the team, especially from, Kyrie in particular, a guy who always seems to be a little disgruntled. Some reasons valid, some are like, all right, bro, grow up a little bit. I don't love the fit. I don't think they addressed their defense. They actually got worse, losing Jared Allen, a true rim protector, and now you're asking DeAndre Jordan, someone who hasn't seemed to play hard in like 2 years, to be your defensive anchor. I don't love that idea. I don't love the idea of Kyrie or James Harden, one of them just willingly accepting being the stand in the corner guy while I ISO or while KD's on the ISO. The star potential is amazing, and that's a lot of times what you need in this league, but fit also matters, especially in today's league where there's more duos and you've gone away from the trios. The fit really, really matters, and I don't think these guys fit amazingly like the three names on paper sound. But that's just my opinion. You can disagree with me if you want to, that's fine. But let's have a discussion if you do. Put it in the comments and we can talk about it. And finally, that leads me to the Houston Rockets. So first and foremost, I want to say to the Rocket fans, do not feel sad, right? This guy clearly didn't want to be there in Tuesday night's ass whooping that the Lakers put on him. I had to be petty, had to throw my little Laker love in there. James Harden basically quit on the team. He quit on the franchise. He said, hey, we're not good enough. The chemistry, whatever it is, the talent, we don't have enough to be where we need to be. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but those are essentially what he said. He said, we're not good enough and we can't win with this group. Part of that, James Harden, is because you quit. You never really gave effort after the first or second game of the season. You came in with COVID because you were going to clubs and bars, maskless, I might add. So the chemistry probably wasn't there because you had something to do with it, would be my guess. I don't know. And you finally met guys who stand up to your BS, and you couldn't take it, right? Steven Silas, first-year head coach. He said, hey, man, I don't know what you're trying to do over there, but we're trying to build a culture, right? One that was catered to you and catered to all your little needs. It wasn't winning, so obviously we need to change something in order to get on a winning path. John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, Guys ain't taking no BS, right? They're not there to cater to James and kiss his feet like Daryl Morey and like Mike D'Antoni. Those guys are trying to revitalize their careers. They're trying to bring up guys like Christian Wood and Sterling Brown and those type of guys who are hungry for opportunity because they know themselves how quick the opportunity can go. They got down by 10 in that game, and I swear he just stood at half court for the rest of the game. Hands behind his back. There's a clip on Twitter that's viral where he dribbles a couple times, loses it, and just throws it over to John Wall and just stands by half court. And as far as the return you got, it's not great. I got to be honest. Especially if Victor Oladipo, who you acquired, doesn't re-sign to your team, it's going to look awful. Because then you're going to just end up having Dante Exum, Rodions, Kurucs, and then the Nets picks for James Harden, who, while I'm throwing a lot of dirt on his name right now, he's still a top 6 or 7 player in this league. And you got to get more than that, So you got to, for one, Rockets fans, you got to hope Oladipo resigns. You got to hope that the Brooklyn Nets turn into a tire fire and all the drama and the ego around them overwhelm them to where KD wants to leave or to where Harden doesn't resign or to where both of them go and then the Nets are left with nothing. You got to hope something like that happens because as of now, those picks that you got from them unprotected and the pick you got from Milwaukee unprotected, is it draft capital? Yes. Is it draft capital to where you can say, oh, we're in prime position to go make a big splash? I don't think so. I think Oklahoma City's picks are better. I think New Orleans picks are better. You're probably looking at the end of the first round with those picks unless, like I said, things go horribly wrong in Brooklyn and you get another KG Paul Pierce scenario, So as a Rocket fan, you've got to be wishing that the Nets struggle. You got to wish that James Harden stays out of shape and hits the different strip clubs out there. And you got to hope KD and Kyrie aren't happy with him and his arrival. So, as far as the return for the Rockets, it's not great. But as far as getting the headache out and trying to rebuild your culture and give Steven Silas an opportunity to coach and these players an opportunity to play under a system, I think it's a great move. And I think the Houston fans should not feel bad. Don't try to make James Harden a martyr, right? Embrace this new era of the Rockets. Don't set unrealistic expectations about competing in the playoffs and trying to get to a conference final. That's not going to happen. You need to take this step by step and understand, okay, the toxicity is out. How do we build up a healthy organization that can be conducive to winning long term, right? That's all I have. I know I went a little longer in this episode, in this video. Forgive me for that, but I had a lot to say. Overall, I love the culture setting aspect of the Rockets getting that guy out. I don't love the return they got for him. With that being said, so two things can be true at once. As far as the Nets, your ceiling is raised, in my opinion, but I think your floor can also drop if these guys don't coexist well. And I think that risk reward is something you need to take in order to try and win a championship. But it is a risk nonetheless. It's the one you would take 100 times out of 100, but it's also a risk. And if it goes bad, it could look really, really ugly in 5 or 6 years. As far as the Pacers and the Cavs, great job getting LeVert and Allen respectively. Enjoy those players. They're good players. And I think they've got something to prove now that they've been shipped away. Thank you guys for watching this. If you're new, subscribe. If you're not new, thanks for coming back. And share with a friend. Appreciate you.